Good morning and welcome to Poetry for Breakfast with Wellfleet Public Library. Today we have The Wellfleet Whale by our dearly beloved late Stanley Kunitz from his collection The Wellfleet Whale and Companion Poems. The Wellfleet Whale. You have your language, too, an eerie medley of clicks and hoots and trills, location notes and love calls, whistles and grunts. Occasionally, it's like furniture being smashed, or the creaking of a mossy door. Sounds that all melt into a liquid song with endless variations, as if to compensate for the vast loneliness of the sea. Sometimes a disembodied voice breaks in, as if from distant reefs, and it's as much as one can bear to listen to its long, mournful cry, a sorrow without name, both more and less than human. It drags across the ear like a record running down. 2. No wind, no waves, no clouds. Only the whisper of the tide as it withdrew, stroking the shore. A lazy drift of gulls overhead and tiny points of light bubbling in the channel. It was the tag end of summer. From the harbor's mouth you coasted into sight, flashing news of your advent, the crescent of your dorsal fin clipping the diamonded surface. We cheered at the sign of your greatness when the black barrel of your head erupted, ramming the water, and you flowered for us in the jet of your spouting. 3. All afternoon you swam tirelessly around the bay with such an easy motion, the slightest downbeat of your tail, an almost imperceptible undulation of your flippers. You seemed like something poured, not driven. You seemed to marry grace with power. And when you bounded into air, slapping your flukes, we thrilled to look upon pure energy incarnate as nobility of form. You seemed to ask of us not sympathy or love or understanding, but awe and wonder. That night we watched you swimming in the moon. Your back was molten silver. We guessed your silent passage by the phosphorescence in your wake. At dawn we found you stranded on the rocks. 4. There came a boy and a man, and yet another man running, and 2 schoolgirls in yellow halters, and a housewife bedecked with curlers, and whole families in beach buggies with assorted yelping dogs. The tide was almost out. We could walk around you as you heaved deeper into the shoal, crushed by your own weight, collapsing into yourself, your flippers and your flukes quivering, your blowhole spasmodically bubbling, roaring. In the pit of your gaping mouth, you bared your fringework of baleen, a thicket of hornied bristles. When the curator of mammals arrived from Boston to take samples of your blood, you were already oozing from below. Somebody had carved his initials in your flank. Hunters of souvenirs had peeled off strips of your skin, a membrane thin as paper. You were blistered and cracked by the sun. The gulls had been pecking at you. The sound you made was a hoarse and fitful bleating. What drew us to the magnet of your dying? You made a bond between us, the keepers of the nightfall watch, who gathered in a ring round you, boozing in the bonfire light. Toward dawn we shared with you your hour of desolation, the huge lingering passion of your unearthly outcry, as you swung your blind head toward us and laboriously opened a bloodshot, glistening eye, in which we swam with terror and recognition. 5. Voyager, chief of the pelagic world, you brought with you the myth of another country, dimly remembered, where flying reptiles lumbered over the steaming marshes and trumpeting thunder lizards wallowed in the reeds. While empires rose and fell on land, your nation breasted the open main, rocked in the consoling rhythm of the tides. Which ancestor first plunged head down through zones of colored twilight to scour the bottom of the dark? You ranged the North Atlantic track from Port of Spain to Baffin Bay, edging between the ice floes through the fat of summer, lob-tailing, breaching, sounding, grazing in the pastures of the sea on krill-rich orange plankton, crackling with life. You prowl down the continental shelf, guided by the sun and stars and the taste of alluvial silt on your way southward to the warm lagoons, the tropics of desire, where the lovers lie belly to belly in the rub and nuzzle of their sporting. And you turned, like a god in exile, out of your wide primeval element, delivered to the mercy of time. Master of the whale roads, let the white wings of the gulls spread out their cover. You have become like us, disgraced and mortal. That was The Wellfleet Whale by Stanley Kunitz. Thanks for listening.